I've heard a lot of talk about the Rotten Tomato score for this movie. I mean, it's just one of those things where people just seem to want to focus on that. Oh, is it as good as this movie or is it as good as that movie? Well, the Rotten Tomato score isn't as good as this one or it's better than this one. You know what? Just get rid of all that. Was it a good movie or not? Let's talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, along with Scott's daughter Cassie, Hank Pym, and Janet Van Dyne, explore the quantum realm, where they interact with strange creatures and embark on an adventure that goes beyond the limits of what they thought was possible. The movie stars Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Jonathan Majors, Kathryn Newton, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Michael Douglas. Don't worry, this is not going to be a spoiler-filled review. I mean, I will talk spoilers at the end, but I will give you plenty of notice when it's spoiler time. I will be talking, however, about some of the recent Marvel shows and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, tread carefully if you haven't watched any of those. But in that case, why would you be watching a Quantumania review? Anyway, let's just get on with it. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all, okay? This is a wacky, wacky movie, okay? So, I mean, the movie starts out, we're catching up with Scott Lang after the events of Infinity War and Endgame, right? And then once they get into the quantum realm, things really get strange. I did find that along the running time, I felt that there were some pacing issues. I felt it drag a little bit, but I also think that part of that is that it's CG. Like a lot of this movie is CG. It's literally characters interacting with characters that aren't there, or you know what I'm saying? There's that disconnect that also kind of makes you feel like there's really no danger. So you know what I'm saying? If you found yourself tiring of Marvel movies and all the CG that is in Marvel movies, this may not be the movie for you. Seriously, I think they've gone above and beyond what Marvel had been doing in the past. Like, this is the most comic booky, really like hard sci-fi kind of story that they've done yet. And I don't think the critics are into that. There's also been a lot of talk that this movie, just can't stand on its own. And I mean, I can kind of see how they're coming to that when the villain of the movie, Kang, is being set up as this new big baddie that Phase 5 of Marvel is going to have to deal with. But you know what? By the end of the movie, I really kind of felt satisfied by the end. Now, the movie looks good. It sounds good. I think the music was really, really good. I think the acting is fine, pretty much across the board, especially Kathryn Newton as Cassie. She took over the role of Cassie, played by Emma Furman in the Avengers movies. And I thought she was great. I mean, I really liked her a lot. The only thing that was kind of a bit of a bummer was that it felt like Evangeline Lilly was a little underused. But Jonathan Majors, oh my God. If you don't know who Jonathan Majors is and you're going to watch this movie, you're going to want to follow his career after this. He's that good. Like, everything I've seen him in so far, he's sort of blown me away. So I'm really excited to see where his career goes. Now, this isn't my way of trying to connect with the kids or anything like that, since I'm getting older and stuff. But no, this is actually the example that my wife gave. She said, you know how like when you're in trouble and you're getting in trouble with your parents, right? And instead of yelling and screaming, they're just really calm and quiet. And you're like, oh, I'm in big trouble. That's the way Kang is in this movie. And she said that because of that, it made her fear him much more than she ever feared Thanos. As I said before, this is the most out there that Marvel's ever been. Think Guardians of the Galaxy and a little bit of Thor Ragnarok, but then turn it up a few notches after that. I mean, that's kind of what we're dealing with here. If you're willing to accept that there is an element of setting up the next few movies, I mean, that's just the way of the Marvel movies, right? But then also accepting that, yes, this is a big, crazy CG Marvel movie. If you're not tired of Marvel up to this point, I think there's a really fun story here. It reminded me a lot of those kind of crazy comic books that I read when I was younger. I really enjoyed it, and I thought there was just a ton of imagination in this movie. Before we get into spoilers, I just want to remind everybody, if you haven't seen the movie yet, make sure you stick around after the credits because there are 2 post-credit scenes, okay? And now it's spoiler time. So, look, if you haven't seen the movie and you actually care about, some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about, like I don't know, this wacky character or one of the post-credit scenes, okay? Please just turn off the just turn it off. Just turn it off and come back later, okay? Okay, spoiler time. MODOK. Okay. This is a very interesting character that I feel like a lot of people are gonna they're just gonna be like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And then some people are gonna be like, no, it really worked for me. I'm somewhere in the middle because I actually found myself warming up to him toward the end of the movie, where I was like, I was starting to accept it. This is not the MODOK that I remember from. I mean, now look, I'm limited when it comes to my Marvel history comic books. I wasn't like super into Marvel, but I knew enough where I thought I knew what MODOK was, and this was not what I expected. I really enjoyed it though. I thought it was pretty. In fact, he's got some of the funniest lines in the movie, and I kind of like that. I thought it was fun. Now, this isn't really a spoiler, but I didn't want to talk about it without. I don't know. I felt like it's giving away something, kind of. But Michael Douglas, look, the dude's pushing 80. He turns 80 next year. Can you imagine them trying to explain to him how to fly this ship? It was just, there was so much stuff that he had to act against that wasn't there. I'm just wondering what that conversation was like. It just really kind of cracks me up thinking about it. It's like trying to explain to my dad how to do something like over the phone, like on his iPad or something. It's impossible. Like I don't know. For some reason it was cracking me up, and I don't know. I just thought it was weird. It's like, oh no, you have to put your hands. It's almost like putting your hands inside, a horse's ass or something. I was like, what? I don't know. It just made me laugh. Okay. Now that post-credit scene at the very end, after all the credits, right? Getting a glimpse of Tom Hiddleston as Loki and Owen Wilson as Mobius going after Kang, and it's a variant of Kang that's in like the 1800s that's not scarred, so it's like he might be the original. I don't know. I really enjoyed Loki season 1, and I feel like there's a lot there that I'm really really excited about. It really got me pumped for season 2 of Loki. And look, I know there's a lot of people that were like, I didn't really like Loki. I really liked Loki, and I'm really looking forward to season 2 because of this end credit scene. And I'm there's not really any, at least for me, not at this point, trying to think of, okay, what's coming. I just really like that there's, I don't know. I really enjoyed the scene. So if you're watching at this point, that means that you've already watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, or you just don't care about spoilers, or you just let the video run regardless. Anyway, I'm curious what everybody thinks about this movie. Do you think it's as bad as what the critics are saying? Or did you, enjoy it on a certain level? Let me know down below. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about what's coming. Whatever you want to talk about, let's do it in the comment section. All right. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.